fucking hate this shit. You're the reason why I don't fucking end it. You're the only reason why I don't fucking die. Joining the U.S. Army is the best mistake I've ever made in my entire life. Well, I made a lot of videos talking about, how my job is, military life, but it's time for me to come out about, not just the good, but also the bad in joining the U.S. Army, at least from my perspective and my MOS, because it is different with whatever MOS you join. The Army as a whole is good. In my honest opinion, I really enjoy being in the Army. Where my issues come from is the MOS I chose to join. Now, 13 Juliet, I made several videos. 13 Juliet isn't for me specifically. I've been in for 2 years. So specialist, I've been deployed. I've gone to NTC. I've been to the field several times. I've done a lot with my life. I've even made a video talking about, what I plan to do with my life. So going through a lot, I figured that this isn't for me. Like, I love being in the Army, I just wish I chose a different job. The reason why I joined the Army, I made an old video talking about I joined the Army for the free food and whatnot. So turns out the food, one, ain't even free, because that's coming out your paycheck when you're living in the barracks. And two, it's all right. It's whatever. The military, straight out of high school, as most people do. I didn't know what I was jumping into. I saw hella basic training videos from Art Chisel and Drip 46 back when he used to upload. Shout out to Drip. I've always tried to be transparent in my military videos. But the thing is, the secret, when you start making military videos, the military is watching you. Big Army, big Navy, whoever is watching you. You might not think that, but they are. They are watching whatever you say. If you say something negative, if you say something that brings shame upon the military, they are watching you. The government is watching me. If you make military videos, the government is watching you. How I know this? I made a video back when I was first joining. I wasn't even in yet, but I made a video taking the OPAT, and my recruiters had gotten in trouble for me making that video. Because, me and my friend, we were like talking and stuff. Like, it was serious because we were joining, but I guess Big Army didn't like that I was having fun in the video. I'm not 100% sure on the politics, what was going on, because I had found out that they had gotten in trouble when I came back to visit after graduating AIT, and I was taking Christmas leave. I went back home, and they were like, yeah, man, we got in trouble for your video. I'm like, what? Like, they got in trouble because of me, and that happens a lot. Like, if you do something that is like more civilian, having fun, laid back, you can get in trouble for it. They got in trouble for it. It sucks knowing someone is always watching you. Whatever you say can be held against you at any time. Even me making this video, can get people in trouble, could get me in trouble more specifically, especially since I'm already in. So I want to come out and say, I have depression and anxiety, and it's gotten more noticeable the longer I've stayed in the military. I love the Army. So my plan was stay in reclass. I wanted to be a public affairs specialist. I personally, I love taking pictures. I love writing articles. I'm good at reading and writing. Even sometimes when I make mistakes, I'll go back and I'll correct it. But I love making videos. That's why I started doing YouTube. It's good therapy. Let's talk about when my depression started. So I deployed to Korea 2018, 2019. October 2018 all the way to July 2019 is when we got back. So in Korea, that was where I wanted to go, but there's so many more rules over there. It's ridiculous. You can't go off post without a battle buddy with you. You can't really go, because we were in the back at Hovey, and there's buses that'll take you to Casey, the main post. And the rules keep going back and forth on what we can, what we can't do. When we first got there, it was have a battle buddy to go to Casey. And then, everybody started doing it, and it made no sense. It's like, because you're still on post, you're still in a safe space. So they were like, all right, don't worry about it. No battle buddy. You can go on post up to the front post without a battle buddy. And it was like that for like 2 weeks. And I went up to main post by myself. I was buying food and whatnot, because that's where the main commissary is. That's where you can get all your goods. And I see my NCO with another NCO. He's like, hey, where's your battle buddy? And I was like, I was told per regulation, like, we didn't have battle buddies anymore coming to main post. And he was like, no, they changed that. Like, they changed that yesterday. So you need to go back and go get a battle buddy if you want to be up here. I didn't know that. That's down to communication. Depression started, I believe, I was having issues with my chief. I don't remember why necessarily, but me and him were like butting heads. I feel like he was like coming after me, and since he is my main supervisor, like my only supervisor, I have to go through him for anything. Like if I need to go to sick call, he has to know. If I want to talk to the commander, he has to know. Stuff like that, chain of command, that's normal. But if me and him are having issues and he's my mainline supervisor, I feel like I have nobody to turn to. So, I started becoming depressed. I started hating where I was at. We were doing the same thing every day. We go to the motor pool, we train or do a layout every day in Korea. That's what we were doing. We were in the motor pool all the time, and I hated it. I hated it with a passion, man. It's so terrible doing the same thing every day, but you have to. It's part of readiness. North Korea could come across that line anytime and attack you, and you have to be ready. So you're constantly training. You're constantly laying out, making sure you have the right gear. That's what you have to do when you're out there. And that's not even a stressful environment. Imagine if I was in Iraq or Afghanistan and we're doing that. And at any time, we could incoming mortar fire. Anytime, we go on go on patrol and we start taking fire. I have to be mentally, physically ready to fight back. And, at that point in time, I was not ready for that. My head was all messed up. So I went to behavioral health. Talking to the major, he's giving me evaluation and whatnot. I'm being completely honest. And at that point, in my depression, I was not suicidal. I was not homicidal. So they just said, all right, well, just come back next week. They're giving me packets to read, talk about depression, which is good. So I figured out what type of depression I had, because there's multiple different depressions. And I did not know that. There are multiple different depressions, and I figured out which one I had just based on the symptoms. But it felt like whoever I told, they didn't give a fuck about it. I told my section, hey, this is why, I'm not hanging out with the section or whatnot. I have this depression. And they're like, dang, that sounds like what someone else also has. And, that made me seem like, wow, so you're more worried about so-and-so than someone that's in your own section, which is not at all how they think. Like, my section cares about me. But my head was so messed up is I felt like nobody cared about me at all. So I started becoming suicidal. I wanted to die. I was like, I hate my life. I hate going to the motor pool 24/7. So I became the boss rep so I can get my mind off of it. While I'm the boss rep, my platoon sergeant was always like, where's Arrington at? Why isn't he here at formation? I'm actually out doing boss stuff to take my mind off of that. I like helping people. So when I'm the boss rep, I get to go to these meetings with the sergeant major, and he's like, hey, this is coming up. And then I push that down and I help prepare for it. I've helped prepare for community-wide events, post-event, not post-events, but events in our battalion. You know, we had games set up where we had people choose if they want to be on the basketball team, the running team, the soccer team, and then we have the boss reps, you know, supervise those games. You know, I was in charge of the shot clock. I was in charge of who got 2 points, who got 3 points. You know, I had to get referees that were NCOs. So if there was an argument, you know, they just throw out I'm an NCO, you know, that was a foul. You know, even if there was a dispute, I was still saying, yeah, that was a foul, or no, that wasn't a foul. You know, I felt like I was important. You know, I felt like I actually mattered. But it was constantly, it just constantly felt like I was a grunt. Like I was just a number. Like, where is he at? And I'm open-minded. So I know, you know, it's for accountability. They want to make sure, you know, I'm not off post when I'm not supposed to, or I'm dead, or anything. You know, they're looking out for me. But it still feels like I'm being micromanaged, because that's what you are being micromanaged. So that's what I hated. I hated being micromanaged, and I hated, you know, feeling like I wasn't nothing but a number. So I was so depressed. I started becoming suicidal. I even had a plan to kill myself. I was gonna leave post, go up to where the trains are, and I was gonna jump off the bridge. And it was probably like 3 or 4 stories high. And I would have died. And that was my plan. But still, me being open-minded, you know, I was like, I'm not going to kill myself. You know, I don't want to die and have my mom bury me, you know, have my mom be upset. You know, I was just thinking about my mom. Like, I go and deploy, I join the army, and then I fucking kill myself. Like, that's not an answer. You know, I'm not doing that. So I go to behavioral health, and they have this BHDP, behavioral health, something. It's a computer, and it's asking you questions. You know, do you feel like harming yourself? And I was honest. I was like, yes, yes, yes. And on the screen, my provider, he looked at it. He was like, yeah, you're showing major signs of depression, this, that, and I have to put you as a high risk. You are a high risk. You might do something. So you cannot have your weapon around you. You must have somebody with you at all times. And that made me feel so bad, because I hate being micromanaged and I hate being watched. And me being honest about how I felt made me get watched even more. And I hated that. I hated that. I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't leave the building without a designated battle buddy. My homeboy Jones from my section. He had to go wherever I was trying to go. In Korea, you know, it's not like that. Some people want to go out. Some people want to do this. Some people want to do that. You know, I was one of those people that would always like to go out and see the country. Jones wasn't always wanting to see the country. Jones had his own priorities. So if I wanted to do something, Jones didn't want to do it, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I couldn't go out. I couldn't pick somebody else to go out with. And I hated that shit with a passion. It made me want to kill myself even fucking more, because I couldn't do anything. Nothing. And then the behavioral health, my provider, he sent me to a medicine dispenser person. I can't remember the name of it, but he offered me Prozac. And it worked for me. Prozac doesn't work for everybody. I'm not saying, you know, everybody, if you're depressed, go get Prozac. I'm not a medical professional. So just because it worked for me does not mean it's going to work for you. So I was taking Prozac, you know, taking 1 a day, every day. 2 months came. I slowly started feeling better and better. And people even noticed before I even did. They were like, yeah, man, you're not as, you know, down. You know, you're actually smiling more and laughing. And I didn't even notice. But other people noticed. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's doing its thing. And then we get back to America, you know. I'm thinking it's going to be smooth sailings from here. I was probably depressed just because I was in, you know, Korea and whatnot. And I was, you know, stuck in my barracks. I couldn't do nothing. Maybe that's why now I have more freedom. I can do what I want now. You know, I saved up money. I can go get my car now, you know. Everything's going to be smooth and dandy. We come through processing and they're like, oh, you went to behavioral health while you were in there? And you've been there so many times, you got to keep coming to behavioral health here, to make sure you're okay. And I hated that. I was like, what? I'm back in America. Why do I need to go to behavioral health? I don't need to go to behavioral health. I'm good. But they're like, no, you got to go. And they made an appointment. And if you miss an appointment, you can get an Article 15 for no showing your appointment. So I had to go to those appointments, those behavioral health appointments. And my other provider that was there, Mr. Funk, he was helping me. He was like, oh, you're good on your Prozac? What's your issues? Do you have any issues? Talking to me, trying to teach me. He gave me some books to read, and I read them, and I learned. One of the books he gave me, I learned there's an emotional you. Sorry, there's a fly in here. I learned there's an emotional you and a mental you. I've always felt like I had personality disorder because I felt different ways, but that's normal. If you ever had a situation where it popped up, like say with a relationship partner, and you want to ask this person out, but you're scared, emotionally you're scared, but in your mind you're like, I want to be with that person. But emotionally you're like, nah, I'm scared. Like, what if she says no? That's going to hurt, blah, blah, blah. There's two yous, a mental you and an emotional you. So when I got back, I was fine. And then one day during PT, we're all doing exercises, push-ups, sit-ups, stretching, whatnot. And everyone's talking, we're not talking loud. We're outside, in a circle, different groups in a circle. So, we're talking once a month to each other. And my buddy Hall and me and Hall went through MEPS, basic training, AIT. We did all that together. He just wasn't in my battery until like 3 days before that day. And he was finally in my battery. I'm like, dude, remember when we were in basic training and so? And we were like, yeah, having a little conversation together. My platoon sergeant, he was like, Arrington, shut the fuck up. And, I felt bad, because I've always felt like my platoon sergeant had some type of issue with me. I felt like he was singling me out because he's always like has something negative to say about me, and I didn't know why, and for him to say, shut the fuck up when literally everyone's talking, and then to have other people add on to it, like, yeah, Arrington, shut the fuck up. Like, have another NCO say, yeah, you're not supposed to be talking during PT. Literally everybody else is talking, so why are you singling me out? Day one of the Army, I learned it's either everybody's doing something or nobody's doing something. So if I'm to shut the fuck up, everybody has to shut the fuck up. Or you're going to let everybody talk. You're not just going to single me out or make an example out of me. I literally started having a mental breakdown. Like, I couldn't do any more exercise. Like, I got up, I started crying. I went to my chief. I was like, Chief, yo, we got to go. Like, I got to go. Like, he's like, what's wrong? I was like, Chief, I need you. Like, my chief went with me, and we were just like walking. I'm like, I'm tired of always feeling like a target. I'm tired of everybody picking on me. I fucking hate that man. And I broke down. I was cussing. I was screaming. I was yelling. Like, my chief was like, yo, calm down. Calm down. I was like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm tired of this man, singling me out. I'm tired of him talking shit to me. I fucking hate him. Like, I was screaming. I was like, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I was screaming his name. Like, people were around. They were looking. They were like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I was broke. I was broken. Like, I got on the ground. I was shaking. A full bird colonel, he came up to me and he was like, hey, calm down. What's wrong? And I'm like, oh shit, a full bird colonel. Like, I'm talking to you. I'm like, Chief, I'm sorry, I'm getting you in trouble now. Like, the full bird colonel, he's like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, he took off his rank. It was a full bird colonel and a commander, a captain. And like, he took off his rank. He's like, hey, calm down, man. I've been in the military this amount of years. You're not the first person to break down. Okay? You're not the first person to have this issue. You're good. Like, I don't know your name. I don't know your chief's name. I don't know any of that, and I'm not going to look into it. If that makes you feel comfortable with me not knowing, I'm not going to look into it. I'm just going to take it as this is just a moment. I've been through that. Like, he was like trying to calm me down. He was saying, and like in that moment, I was looking at it, I was like, that's a full bird colonel. That's right underneath general, right underneath a 1-star general. And he's trying to calm me down, talking about, don't worry about it, I've been in that situation. Like that. So it did calm me down, I was shaking, I was on the ground, I was like, man, I'm fucked up, I'm fucked up. Like, that's what I kept saying. I was like, I'm fucked up, Chief, I'm fucked up. I fucked up, I shouldn't have joined, stuff like that. And my chief's was like, Arrington, don't worry about it, man. Like, you're good. Like he was trying to calm me down. And when I finally got calm, I got to my room. I called my girlfriend. I FaceTimed her, and I was upset. I was like, babe, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of treating like shit. I'm tired of singling me out. I'm tired of motherfuckers always judging me. I fucking hate this shit. You're the reason why I don't fucking end it. You're the only reason why I don't fucking die. And I was so fucking mad. I was screaming. I was yelling. I didn't know my roommate. He stayed in for PT. I woke him up, and he came in. He was like, "You good?" And like, I'm fucking screaming. I'm fucking yelling. I was like, they just fucking use you, and they kick you to the fucking side, man. That's all they fucking do. They just use you, kick you to the side, get on to the new private, Oh, this guy's fucking broke. He's useless. Get a new private. It doesn't matter. And I was so fucking mad that day. I was so upset. I was so upset that day. My chief, and I told him, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to drive to behavioral health. I want you to. It's like, I never want to feel that way again. I'm tired of being here. I never want to work with these people again. Like, if these people don't think I'm useful, I'm just gonna go somewhere else to whoever thinks, who can like use me and not belittle me and treat me like shit. So that's what I did. I told my chief, I was like, Chief, I want to talk to the commander today. I want to talk to the first sergeant, open door policy. I want to talk to them. And later on that day, I talked to my commander. I told him, I was like, sir, you need to move me, like, not batteries. I need to move battalions. I don't want to be here no more. I can't do this. I can't have this person around, like my platoon sergeant. He keeps singling me out, and he doesn't care. And I hated it. And my commander was like, we'll do everything we can to help you. And I went to behavioral health that day. I didn't have an appointment, but I walked in. I was like, hey, I need to talk to my provider, like, right now. Like, this is urgent. Like, and they helped me. They worked with me. They were like, all right, I was like, I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm gonna fucking do some crazy shit if they don't move me. And he's like, all right, well, we have this one program that's, good, but the one issue is, once you get in this program, most, like 9 times out of 10, you get out of the Army once you do this program. I was like, I don't care. At that point, I was like, I don't care. So I was gonna document me going through IOP, but you're not allowed to have cell phones in there and stuff like that. I didn't know that till after I got there, but I made one video day one where they do an intake on you and see what class you go to. I'll upload that in a separate video because this is already long enough. The upload time on this video is gonna be fucking ridiculous, but or I'll put at the end. I'll put at the end of this video, or I'll just upload a separate video, whatever. Because that video itself, me talking to the camera, was like 12 minutes long. So before I could even get there, like several days later, I'm just going to behavioral health like normal, and my chief shows up. He's like, I have this folder from the commander. I'm like, what's in it? He's like, I don't know. He just told me to come to behavioral health. And he takes it to the lady. The lady opens it, and she's like, oh, is this his chapter paperwork? And I'm like, chapter? What? Like, what? And my chief's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm starting to be like, whoa, hold on. Chapter for what? What'd I do? Like, he gave me fit for duty. And they were like walking around, like she went and got her boss, and then her boss was like, oh, fit for duty. Like, everybody's like going around and like trying to figure out what the hell's going on. My chief doesn't know what's going on because he's like, I was just told to send this. I don't know what was in it. Fit for duty, I I don't know why he sent that. I'm asking my chief, I'm like, why would he send that? Like, I'm in behavioral health. I'm trying to get better. Why is he trying to kick me out? I'm starting to like not freak out, but I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And basically the manager or whatnot, she was like, all right, so this is a fit for duty. Your commander wants to know if you would be still good for, your MOS for the Army or whatnot. And basically we're not going to do this fit for duty because you're enrolling into the intensive outpatient process, like IOP. Since you're in IOP, they're going to help you. So we're not going to do a fit for duty. I was like, okay. So I go through IOP, they teach me stuff. I learn a lot. IOP is group therapy. You talk to a whole bunch of people that have somewhat the same issue, or, basically you guys go through like the same stuff. I still talk to those people to this day, and you go in PT, so you don't have to worry about rank, but obviously everyone's different rank. There's NCOs and specialist privates, officers, and, you start talking about your issues, and it feels good knowing you're not the only messed up person. IOP is constant. After we had our 6 weeks, like literally I went in the next Thursday because they have a process where they check on you. Like every Thursday they check on you to see if you're doing good or if you're having issues still. And I look in the classroom and there's new people in there already. Like 3 days later, there's new people in there. So just constantly messed up soldiers going in there. And it is very helpful. I learned so much. The platoon sergeant, I had a homicidal plot against him. I wanted to kill that man. I had a plan to kill him. I went to the hospital. They were going to send me to 11 West, and that's for, people who have homicidal plots or suicidal plots, and they keep them there and they study them for however long. It could be up to 3 days to like a month of you in that hospital. But the person that was going to put me in there, they're supposed to be on call. The psychiatrist that's on call, it was like 10 o'clock. They turned off their phone. Like we were there, me and my new platoon sergeant, we were there literally from like we were there like 1600. The ambulance came, they came to my room, whatever, put me in handcuffs. The MPs had to come because homicidal plot, they put handcuffs on you, but they took them off. The MP took them off literally like 5 minutes after talking to me. Like, he was like, oh, so you're good? I was like, yeah. He was like, all right, I'm gonna take the handcuffs off. I'm like, wow, okay. But I was compliant, whatever they said, I did. I didn't care. They put me in the ambulance, they sent me to the hospital, but we were there from like 1700 to like midnight, almost 1 a.m., like basically almost 1 a.m. And it's because the person turned off their phone. I was like, it's 10 o'clock, man. Ain't nobody gonna have their phone on at 10 o'clock. They turned that shit off. And that's what they did. They literally had me in the hospital in the waiting room. I fell asleep. I woke up. They were like, yeah, so the person isn't coming. So, just pee in this cup and, we'll send you home. I was like, so I did all this for nothing. And, thankfully I did do all that for nothing, because if I went to 11 West, like I said, I could have been there for a couple of days to a month. And I would have got kicked out of IOP because if you don't show up, like 2 days or something, not even 2 days, like 4 hours of you being not there, like it's like they're kicking you out and they tell your commander, hey, your soldier, they dropped out of IOP, whatever. But, I finished IOP. They gave me coping skills. I no longer wanted to kill the platoon sergeant I had issues with because, their one-on-one talks that I had, they were like, are you really going to let this one person that's about to get out, that's set in their ways, are you really going to let them, affect the rest of your life? And I was like, no, they're not. And I even told NCO, Staff Sergeant Hooks, he told me that he had one point in time wanted to kill somebody, and one of his friends told him, is it worth it? Like, he had a daughter, and he was like, nah, you're right, it's not worth it. And him telling me that, knowing he was literally in the same shoes I was in, wanting to kill somebody, another soldier, and he said, it was not worth it. I was like, you're right, it's not worth it. So all that just went out the window. Now when I see my platoon sergeant, I don't even have issues. I'll say good morning. It doesn't affect me no more. And going on with the future, I know it doesn't affect me no more. I learned so much. Like I said, the Army is the greatest mistake I ever made. I learned so much. Like coping skills, all the pressure, all the stress, I've learned so much. But going on with my depression, I was no longer depressed because of Prozac. It made me happier, but I was more mellow than anything. But then I got angry and I didn't know how to deal with it. I had no coping skills. So I go to IOP and I learned coping skills. I've learned ways to deal with my issues, but I wasn't happy. I had no happiness. I felt empty. And then having drunk NCOs show up to my door and threatening to fight me, that wasn't helping. I need a balance. So my girlfriend that I've been with only a couple months, ended up getting married to her. So yeah, I'm married right now and I'm happy. I love it. My wife's fun. She's cool. We've been married, like a month now, but I love her. It's awesome having my own stuff. It's gonna sound weird saying I got married to get out the barracks, but most soldiers that get married to get out the barracks, they marry like their friend. They do like a gay marriage and they just split the rent and stuff and they fake it, whatever. But I'm married, I'm happy. I can see myself with my wife like the rest of my life. We have a dog, we have an apartment, I have a car, I have a wife, I'm happy. I have my own place, I'm relaxed. I have a beautiful view. Like I keep looking out the window because it's a nice view, it's starting to become, winter. So the trees are turning brownish before they die. So now I'm happy as I could be. It's the greatest mistake I ever made. Like I said, like I'm about to get financial freedom. But one thing is, I'm probably getting out the Army because of how long I've been to behavioral health, the stuff that I've said, the stuff that I've done, the stuff that I've been through, the experiences. I have two parts of me, my mental and emotional. Emotionally, I want to get out the Army. I'm done. I'm ready to move on with my life. I'm about to start taking college classes. I'm ready to grow up. I'm ready to experience, hardship and anguish, but I'm also ready to experience life, the good and the bad with my wife. But mentally, I want to stay in. Not only because the safety and security of being in the military, I'm guaranteed a paycheck first and the 15th. I'm guaranteed that, but I'm also guaranteed a lot of terrible experiences too, like going to the field and preparing for war. Mentally, I can't handle my MOS. I can't handle the situations I'm in mentally, but I'm up for reclassification and I want to reclass to chaplain assistant. I want to help people. That's why I made these YouTube videos about being a 13 Juliet, because I love helping people. That's all I want to do. That's all I've wanted to do. I like helping. I chose this MOS because I thought it was cool. I was a teenager, I was like, oh, I don't want to be supply clerk, or I don't want to be the chaplain assistant. Like artillery, you kill people. Oh, that sounds cool. Ain't nothing cool about killing people. Like, I was a dumb kid and I chose this job. But I've done so much, been through so much that I would not have been through. I would have been through different pains and experiences staying at home, being in my mom's house, whether I'm doing college at my mom's house, faking it to make it, or I'm at my mom's house working at a grocery store, faking it to make it, trying to make it, doing YouTube videos, being a clown, trying to get clout so I can get fame and money and live on my own with my YouTube fame and my clout. And when reality sets in, you either gonna sink or swim, man. Like, in life, you gonna sink or swim. There's gonna be ups and downs. I was talking to my mom yesterday. You know, I finally confessed to her and my aunt that I was suicidal, that I wanted to kill myself, that I've been to the hospital, you know, that I got married. You know, I like to try and keep stuff to myself and flex. Like, you'll see me on Instagram. Like, I haven't uploaded like those little videos on Instagram because I just wasn't happy, you know. There was nothing to flex. You know, I used to flex being in the Army, like, oh, look at this, look at what I got, you know. It's cool, I'm having fun. When really, I was not. Like, yeah, I was having fun in those moments, but really deep down, I fucking hated my life. You know, I love the Army. Don't get me wrong. When I say I love the Army, I mean it. I love the Army. I want to reclass the chaplain assistant, and hopefully that's a better gig, you know. I just hate the chain of command. I hate having to go through so many people to get my issues addressed. You know, when you're a civilian, if you have an issue, you bring it up to the manager, and then you go from there. Here, I got to tell my chief. And then once I tell my chief, I tell my platoon sergeant. Okay, once I tell my platoon sergeant, then maybe I get a chance to talk to the first sergeant. And then from the first sergeant to the commander, you know, maybe, because they like to solve it at their level so it doesn't get that high. You know, it makes sense. You know, my commander has a lot on his plate. And then for me to come with my issues, you know, that just adds extra. And when you're a commander, you're leading soldiers. You know, you're leading people to war. You know, you have to train, you have to prepare, you have to make these schedules. Yeah, you have your lieutenants, but it comes down to you. And then you're also obeying orders from higher command coming down. Hey, we need this done. It comes to you. And you're like, all right, I know this lieutenant can break this down with this section, this platoon. Like, it's a lot for me to come with my issues. So I'm an impatient person. I don't like waiting. So I know I'm not right for at least this job in the Army. I'm not right for this position. You know, I can't do this. But what gives me hope, the reason why I keep trying to stay in mentally, the stability, yeah, I get college paid for, you know, I get paid first and the 15th guaranteed. Like, if ands or buts, regardless if I work 0 days out of the 15 or I work every day out of the 15th till 2200, I'm going to get paid. Regardless, I'm going to get paid. And, you know, there's nothing like that security out in the free world. You can't get no security like that. One day you're working, next day something happens where you're no longer able to work. If you're no longer able to work, they ain't gonna pay your ass. You better find another job. Like, there's nothing like the military for security. There is nothing like it. Unless you become like working with the military or private security, private company. As long as you basically, if you sign a contract, you're guaranteed money, unless they fire your ass. But they can't just fire you in the military. You know, you have to go through so much paperwork and process to get fired. You know, to get fired out the military, you can fail PT. You fail a PT test, 90 days come, you fail another PT test. All right, they're starting to kick you out. But that takes months. You're not going to immediately get kicked out. So you're going to get a couple more paychecks before you even get let go. And if you get let go, you know, it's nothing negative. Like, you're either going to get an honorable discharge or neutral. Like, you're going to get discharged, but it ain't going to say, yeah, you served your duties well. But it's not going to say, nah, we're kicking you out because, you know, you're a terrible fucking person. So getting kicked out of the military, you know, it's pretty hard to do that. You have to basically fulfill your contract, or you get issues like me and they're like, hey, you know, we don't want you to stay in because, you know, we're concerned for you. The Army is concerned for me, and I'm concerned for myself. If I stay in, I don't know what's going to happen. I might lose my shit again and become even more upset over something. I don't know. You know, that's life. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. The military is a beast, and you got to be ready to fucking ride that beast, because you can't tame it. You got to ride that motherfucker. You got to train yourself to stay on the beast, because If it bucks you off, it's gonna keep going. You know, the beast don't stop, the beast don't calm down. So, greatest mistake I ever made was joining the military. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get out. I wanna go and pursue my career. You know, I love being a journalist. I wanna work with news, or I wanna work, you know, with a private company that'll send me somewhere and cover news. You know, I wanna be the cameraman, you know, man versus wild. You know, he ain't doing that by himself. He has a camera crew. I want to be the guy holding the camera. You know, Fast and Furious, I want to be the guy recording the Fast and Furious, or be the guy writing down the scripts for Fast and Furious, you know, the director. You know, I have a lot of goals I want, but between me and my goals is life, and life is a motherfucker, and I don't even know if 100% if I'm ready for life, you know. That's why I'm saying mentally, it would be wise for me to stay in. But at this point, I'm not in control if I stay in or not, because they're looking at giving me a 517, discharging you under mental conditions, you know. I've lost my mind joining the Army. I'm not gonna lie, I've gone crazy joining the Army. But I love it, you know. I just wish I'd went a different route. Chaplain assistant. Maybe from the get-go, I would have loved the Army and would not be seeing this video to this day, because I'd be so in love with my job, you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, Army is the greatest mistake I've ever made, and I just got to leave it at that. Like, this is the greatest mistake I've ever made, and from now on, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's not in my hands anymore. You know, my career is not in my hands anymore. I made this video because I want you guys to know, you know, whether I get 5 views or 5 million views, I don't care. You know, if you're going to join the military, you got to get ready to go through either what I've been through or worse. Maybe even better. Shit, you can join the military and have a smooth career throughout the whole time, no issues, no nothing. Or you can go through, fucking get caught up in some shit, get caught up in investigations, get caught up in, you know, schemes, fucking get caught up working for the cartel, get caught up doing prostitution, get caught up doing crack, get caught up shooting some shit up, get caught up being a hero, get caught up saving some kid in a village somewhere, get caught up taking down some evil organization. You can get caught up in so much shit in this career. You can get caught up in so much. It's fucking ridiculous. And it all changes just based off what job you decide to pick going into this. You know, at that, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, you can, that's just how it is, you know. That's the video, the end. Till next time, you know, comment, rate, let me know what you think. Comment below, let me know. Titty slap that like button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.